Hello everyone, welcome to the live stream today, and thanks for joining me with the late notice. Now, I just want to talk about this issue I just thought about. I've been thinking about it for a while, but it just kind of came up just recently. Um, I don't belong to the same religion as a number of these people. Whenever I browse Twitter, I see just different characters, different people comment on things, and I don't belong to the same religion, and I'll get into that in a little bit. Um, so Tim Flanders of The Meaning of Catholic, he came up with three categorizations of people who call themselves Catholic, and that's the Catholic liberals, the Catholic conservatives, and the Catholic traditionalists. And he says that the Catholic liberals are heretics, and that's certainly a very good characterization. Um, and Father Altman actually took it a step further and said you can't be Catholic and vote Democrat. You can't be Catholic and Democrat, whatever. And I think, it really seems to be true because the Democrats, they believe in abortion, they believe in elementary marriage, both of which are fundamentally opposed to Catholic doctrine. And they also believe in the jab, they believe in the virus religion. And so I just want to share a little bit of Twitter stuff. And I can sort of tell you what I'm talking about here. So let's see if this works. All right, so there's a priest. He's dressed up in a Wario costume from Super Mario Brothers. I mentioned this before. Yeah, now this on the surface, this is not necessarily an example of I belong to a different religion. I don't know. I don't think this is necessarily objectively sinful. But this priest, he he basically is full out virus religion, and he commented at one point. He posted a tweet where he said some kind of virus religion statement. A lot of people were saying, "Nah, no thanks." And he responded to every single person who opposed him. He said, "Please get jabbed." And so that was his response to everyone. And so let's move on. I don't know, is this showing up on the screen? Let's see, no, it's not. All right, let's move on to the next screen where I can share. I'll see if I can share this screen. And I think it's really important. So here we go. I'm not sure how much you'll be able to see of this. So there was a tweet by this guy's name is Tommy. I don't know. I don't really know what he's famous for, but he has a blue check mark. But he posts a lot of Catholic stuff, and there were all these people who claim to be Catholic. Greg Hillis is some professor at I believe he's at a Jesuit university, and then of course, you see all these people celebrating the virus church, and it's absolutely disgusting. I think, this virus religion. I believe that the jabs, there's going to be 7 jabs, and they will be the counter to the sacraments, the 7 sacraments. And it's going to be a completely new virus church. And I think the virus church is sort of collaborating with the heretical church. We can go to Father James Martin, but there's a lot of priests that actually agree with Father James Martin. I remember Bishop Barron. Oh, he's not that bad. Well, he called Father James Martin a winsome guide to the faith. What does that say? Does that say he's a friend of Father James Martin? Let's take a look at Pope Francis. He's definitely promoted the jab. And the Joe Bidens. Joe Biden claims to be Catholic, and Pope Francis has said, well, he said, I never denied anyone communion. What does that say? Pope Francis doesn't belong to the same religion as Pope Benedict, because they're fundamentally opposed on who should receive communion. Well, what do you think about that? I think it's pretty shocking to me, um, and it's been kind of a revelation to me that that you know we do belong to different religions, and I feel more and more like I don't belong to the same religion as the members of the Vatican. A lot of the Vatican cardinals, I don't belong to the same religion as them, and it's crazy because you would think that the priests, bishops, cardinals, and the Pope would have a goal, a shared goal of promoting the Catholic faith, and they're not. They're promoting an anti-church. Who is going to stand up for us? Will it be Cardinal Sarah? I don't think so. Cardinal Sarah, Cardinal Sarah seems to be Catholic, but then whenever Pope Francis says something, he remains silent. It's about silence. He's not going to say anything, even whenever Pope Francis does or says something heretical. And Pope Francis, for his part, I think the Joe Biden thing was one of many things um, that indicate that I don't belong to the same religion. And it's crazy to say on YouTube that the Pope appears to be the Pope appears to belong to a different religion than you do. It doesn't it? I mean that's something crazy to say, but I mean when Pope Francis, when he's promoting Cardinal McCarrick to higher positions in the Vatican, when he's promoting these very shady characters to higher positions in the Vatican, um, whenever he is friendly towards Father James Martin, whenever he seems to indicate that Joe Biden can receive communion, what religion does he belong to? And what about these bishops? We have bishops in the United States, and they're going to be meeting here in a few weeks, and they're going to be talking about decline in the belief of the real presence of the Eucharist. And so if we're going to promote belief in the real presence of the Eucharist, is it going to be difficult? Is it going to be difficult to talk about the Eucharist whenever you have no bishops that are standing up and saying that pro-abortion politicians should not present themselves for communion? You can just release a general blanket statement like that. No politicians should present themselves for communion. And you can leave it at that, and then if a politician presents themselves for communion, then you deal with it accordingly. And Archbishop Gomez had a politician in his archdiocese who publicly challenged Archbishop Gomez to deny him communion, and guess what? Silence. And that's the name of the game, silence. They don't want to make people angry, and it's at the expense of promoting the Catholic faith. It's really sad to see. It's pathetic. And I know Eric Sammons interviewed Archbishop Cordileone, who seems to be kind of one of the leaders of the Catholicism in the United States. He actually makes statements that are Catholic, at least in terms of pro-life. And Archbishop Cordileone said he didn't want to excommunicate Nancy Pelosi. Why not? Why does he not want to excommunicate Nancy Pelosi? I don't know. That's interesting. Let's take a look at my profile. Yeah, I said it's a different religion. I do have some stuff here. So, okay, Jeffrey Sachs was appointed let's see here. He was appointed as a member of the Pontifical Academy of Social Sciences. Jeffrey Sachs is not Catholic. And I'm not saying that he pretends to be. He doesn't pretend to be Catholic. But yet, he's actually pro-population control. But yet, Pope Francis named him to this position, and that's actually kind of crazy. This guy, Sean Martin, he wrote an anti-Scott Hahn book. I'm just scrolling through my Twitter profile. I'm sorry if this is repeating stuff that you've already seen, but this guy, he says, I'm happy to announce my book, Scott Hahn and the Rise of Catholic Fundamentalism. He's critical of Scott Hahn. He's saying that Scott Hahn is an American pope, and I mean, how crazy can you get? Like, I don't know if he's just trying for attention or what. Let's see, professor of religious studies. Yeah, this is unfortunately a very sad state that we're in the Catholic Church. For the record, I mean, this is just random. This could go really badly for me clicking on this profile. Um, let's see what he has to say here. Freedom struggle. All right, so it's all about anti-racism. Oh, here we go. He retweeted something. Um, Bishop Strickland. So the liberal heretics are very critical of Bishop Strickland. Okay, let's see if there's anything here in his books. American Pope. Oh yeah, he's promoting his book. Okay. Oh, what is this? What is this? 22. Oh, so Stalin was better than. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, let's see here. It should be noted that Knights of Columbus use the Eucharist in ads for life insurance. Um, I didn't design the cover. I endorsed it because of what's at stake in theological discourse. The Eucharist as the body of Christ as a form of truth. I disagree with Scott Hahn's presentation of Catholic faithfulness, and so the cover highlights that to which most closely identifies that. Okay, those who call Scott Hahn fundamentalists have never lived with fundamentalists. I have and I do. Okay, so basically, this guy he doesn't like Scott Hahn. You know, it's pretty interesting to see there. Um, and I think that I don't know that that makes you necessarily a good Catholic if you dislike Scott Hahn. I'm not so sure about that, but I think calling him a fundamentalist. I mean, has anyone read Rome Sweet Home, and do you like it? You know, and I think that if you're criticizing Dr. Scott Hahn because he promotes the Catholic faith, then what faith do you actually believe in? This is really what I'm getting down to. I'm just fed up with these people on Twitter thinking that they can be good Catholics while disregarding or directly opposing usually several doctrines of the Catholic faith. It's not just one. It's many doctrines. But even bishops who they say, well, if you're pro-life, you have to also oppose capital punishment, and it's part of Catholic doctrine to support capital punishment. It wasn't until Pope Francis came along and anyone even um, said anything. But he didn't change the Catholic faith because the Catholic faith won't change. That's a key point here. And I think that a lot of these people on Twitter, it's really interesting. And more lately, I've thought that I don't belong to the same religion as a lot of these people, and it's not me that's left the church; it's them. They're creating this counter church, this anti-church, and so if you support communion for the divorced and remarried, that's an anti-church principle. It never existed in Catholic doctrine. Jesus, in fact, spoke contrary to that in the Bible. And so you're directly contradicting the words of Jesus. And I know that people say it's like a different religion whenever they attend the Novus Ordo Mass, but I'm not even talking about that. I'm just talking about general principles of the Catholic faith. It's like a different religion. It's not two religions. You know, we don't follow two different religions, or we don't have two different religions, like two different rites of the Roman Rite. What about two different religions? And I haven't thought about this a whole lot about the Novus Ordo versus the traditional Latin Mass. I haven't thought about that a whole lot as two different um, religions because there are people that attend the Novus Ordo that practice the Catholic faith. But whenever and people get some people just kind of disregard the church's. I don't. Is it a discipline to not eat meat on Fridays? I don't know, but um, you know, it's it's just very uh, disappointing and very shocking to think about that these people. We have fundamental disagreements. There is no way to reconcile these agreements. These people think that LMNOP marriage is fine. They think that it's fine to support abortion. They think that they support all of these principles that directly oppose the Catholic faith, and they think that they belong to the same religion as I do. These people, most of these people, the liberals, they claim to be supporters of obedience. They say we must blindly follow Pope Francis. We must blindly follow his teachings and everything that he says on an airplane interview. But they have no intention of blind obedience. It's only they actually don't believe in blind obedience. So whenever we talk about blind obedience, it's only directed towards basically the JP2, Vatican II types, but not Vatican II types like Bernini. It's the people that think the Vatican II is good, but they're, I would say, maybe a bit naive because there are certainly questionable parts of Vatican II. And so when these liberals, they don't even believe in blind obedience. They just use that you're being disobedient to the Pope to try to win arguments, and it doesn't work. And they don't even like. So one example is whenever this was at the CDF, they declared that LMNOP couples cannot receive blessings. I was shocked because a lot of the people in the Vatican would have been extremely upset about that. And the people that the Pope Francis's supporters, most of them would have been very upset about that too. But then maybe it was an opportunity for them to say, "See, Pope Francis, he's Catholic because he said this, and it reaffirms the teaching of the Church." But I think with that, I was very surprised. But I know that the anti-church, the Church of Pachamama, they were upset about it. They said, "I can't believe this," and but the German bishops, that's another thing. This German bishop synod, the synod or what, the synodal path of Germany. The rest of the church is going down the synodal path right now. What has Pope Francis said against the German bishops? He has said nothing against the German bishops. In fact, he even appears to support them. So I don't know what the goal is here. I don't know what Pope Francis intends to do. But like I said, I was surprised by the LMNOP blessings statement from the Vatican. I was actually very shocked because I'm like, wow, this reaffirms church doctrine, something that hasn't been done very often at all in the last 8 years. And but even the cardinals, they belong to a different religion. So this eco theology. Let's talk about this again. Effeminacy. It's complete effeminacy. It's the elites are pushing this on us. And you look at that climate conference that took place in Scotland. How many of them flew to that conference in their private jets? How much fuel or how much carbon are you throwing into the environment? Are you flying in a private jet? Because I'm sure that throws a lot of carbon into the atmosphere. And by me driving my car, I don't think I put nearly as much carbon in the environment. So what are they doing? They're just getting together at these climate conferences and talking about it. They don't care. They just want to control our lives. And I think that with the number of bishops and cardinals that are going full eco theology on us, they belong to a different religion too. Now, look, I like nature. Check out my second channel, Appleseed Outdoors. I do some hiking. I really enjoy it, and I like to preserve the environment. You know, um, I'll recycle when I have the opportunity to do so. But that doesn't make me a good Catholic. That just makes me someone who does things. I mean, I don't think because I take some cardboard boxes to a recycling center, that doesn't make me any more Catholic. Like I don't think that when I meet my judgment that that's really going to help me out at all. Now, if I throw a cardboard box in my neighbor's yard, okay, yeah, maybe that would hurt me a little bit. But talk about effeminate. These people that promote eco theology, have they ever been outside hiking? I mean, really though, think about it. Have these men ever been outside and taken a hike and embraced the outdoors? Have they ever been camping? I've been tent camping before. I don't particularly enjoy the cold weather. Um, I'm a little bit of a wimp in the cold weather, but I'll admit it. But if you look at the environmentalists, say in the 1800s, let's go back to the 1800s. John Muir, he discovered. Let me rephrase that. He had ventured to Yosemite Valley, and he was influential in having that piece of land named as a national park, which is great. I'm a big fan of parks. I really like the national parks. I think it's pretty cool. And I've been to several. I really enjoyed them. And he hiked like he would hike on 40-mile trips in the mountains. He would explore these territories that were they weren't mapped, or at least the maps were kind of sketchy. He would just go out for days with hardtack, and that was what he would eat. And now you're looking at your modern day environmentalists, and they're the ones that want to. Have they ever been outdoors at all? I mean, do they do they go outdoors for anything other than walking to their private jet? You know, talk about effeminate. But the eco theology is another thing where I don't belong to that same religion. We, as Catholics, we don't talk about. We can talk about the environment, but not in the context of the Catholic faith. We need to talk about morals. We need to talk about virtues. Um, I didn't really learn much about virtues at all when I was in youth group. In any of my experience in my Catholic past, that's what I want to say. Is that true? I don't know. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention a whole lot to certain things. I don't have a lot of memories of a lot of things. Um, I know that I went to Catholic school, and maybe we talked a little bit about Bible stories. Um, that was the extent of it. But the extent of my Catholic knowledge came from the home, and I also went to a Catholic camp every year starting when I was, well, it was probably about 2000. I went there for quite a while. And that did help form my Catholic faith. And I was once a 1 week out of a year, and so it wasn't a whole lot. But how are we forming people in the Catholic faith? And if we have people that are raising their kids in this anti-church, they're going to leave. They're really going to leave because if you wear a rainbow flag and you're walking in these protests and everything, that doesn't make you Catholic. In fact, you oppose the Catholic faith. And the church isn't going to be there to support your anti-church beliefs. Maybe some of the priests will. Maybe Father James Martin will, and that's part of the confusion today. And I think what they see is division. Um, if these people see that there's this kind of division in the Catholic Church, how many of the youth are going to stay? Especially people that can't even agree on the jab. Father Matthew Schneider, he's part of the Legionnaires of Christ, and he's been very, very heavily promoting the jab. In fact, there was speculation that an article he wrote where he said that abortion was used in the experiments of Tylenol, and so religious exemption cannot be claimed for jabs. Um, there was speculation that the Navy, was it the Navy or was it the Air Force, that was using his article as a basis for denying religious exemption. Shame on you. I don't even care. I don't care if that claim was true or not, that the military is using his article. Shame on him. because he's not promoting the Catholic faith. He's promoting the anti-church, the virus church. He's promoting the virus religion and their sacraments, and it's anti-Catholic. Father Matthew Schneider is part of the Legionnaires of Christ, formed by notorious predator Maciel Maciel. Is that important? Do you think that's significant that you belong to an order founded by a predator? And I don't like whatever. Who cares? Who cares about the order being founded by a predator? But why would you join it? You know, like, but these priests, I want to say, like, for me, they're irrelevant, but for a lot of people, they're not. And that's the sad part, is that people are listening to these priests and they're saying, "Oh, you know, he's a priest, so we have to listen to it." And I think that was the case until just a few years ago, maybe for a lot of people, including myself. I saw stuff that different priests would say about different things, and I'm like, well, I don't know. I guess he's a priest, so that makes him Catholic. But now it's like, okay, there's a lot of priests that are they're either naive or completely sold out in the virus modernist church, the anti-church, and they're serving the anti-church. And who rules the anti-church? It's not Jesus. I can tell you that much. And even with the whole virus religion, let's remove the holy water. What does holy water do? It sends away the demons, right? So, okay, I don't think I have anything else to say. I do have a lot to say, but I don't think there's a whole lot of other important things to say. Does anyone have any comments on this anti-church, on this alternative religion? Because for me, I'm thinking about, like, there's a lot of bishops that belong to this. It's such a precarious, I guess, should I say, um, position that we're in. There's so much division, but the thing is, and I guess you have to reframe your perspective, because it's not divisive. There's not division. If they belong to a different religion, then there's no division, because we belong to the Catholic faith and they belong to an anti-church, and so there's not division. It's just it's an what would I say? It's a formal division because they formally have received sacraments in the Catholic Church, but I would say that's in what, in theory, right? In practice, since they've left the Catholic faith and they belong to a different religion and they have no intention of repenting of their heresies, then they belong to a different religion. There is no division in the church. I don't know. That's my thought. Thanks, Lee Harvey Oswald. I hope that I see you're talking about a president. Let's see here. Oh, no, no, no. That's okay. Lee Harvey Oswald. Don't go. I would say that's an interesting name, and I hope that they don't spend much time around the president. Um, we are the remnant. Yeah, certainly. I would say, yeah. I mean, how's it going to be? How's it going to be for us that we're the remnant? Are they going to try to shut down churches again? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Are they going to try to ban us from churches? I don't. And I was actually going to talk about Father Jackson of the FSSP, and I'm going to withhold my comment about Father Jackson because I don't really want to go down that path right now. And plus, I don't have all the facts. But he said, and the reason I thought about this was he said that he would go around to people's houses. All right, I will talk a little bit about it, but I'm not going to talk about the situation. So, um, Father Jackson was arrested on charges of child pornography, and Ryan and I talked about him in one of our previous videos about comments he made where he said that he wouldn't actually, if he were kicked out of the diocese because Latin Mass were banned or whatever reason, he would just go around to people's houses in their private chapels and say Mass. And so we talked about him in one of our videos. He was in the Mass of the Ages, who just reached 1 million views, by the way. Congratulations to them. He was in the Mass of the Ages documentary Part 1. And he looked to be a featured um, speaker in part two, and so I don't know what that's going to do for them. But that's all I have to say on that situation. I don't want to comment any more on that. But we are the remnant. We are the laity, and we have to see. And what I say is, we are the laity, and we will not be silent. And I think what we need to do, though, is we have a very large impact at the local level. That's where we're going to have our most impact as lay peoples. Not everyone can be Taylor Marshall, and even me, like I have 1,800 subscribers on YouTube. That's incredible. You know, that many people have watched my video and thought enough of my channel to subscribe, which is really incredible. And even like I see that there are 6, 7 on the live stream. That's pretty incredible. I mean, it's not just my family tuning in to support me. You know what I mean? There were just like family members tuning in to support me and say, "Yay, follow your dreams. You can be whatever you want to be." You know, that would be one thing. But if it's complete strangers, that's pretty awesome too. Even though the Thunder and Lightning shows sometimes get a lot of viewers, but that's incredible as well. And I think that at the local level, you got to go to your local parish and talk traditional Catholicism. See who's in your camp. You know, you're going to find people who belong to the anti-church, and that's going to be very disappointing. It will be because they're going to talk about the seamless garment. They're going to talk about uh, will they talk about LMNOP? There's certainly they'll talk about the popular topics like racism and what else? Women participating in the liturgy and like all this other stuff, and it's going to be disappointing for you. But you're going to have to basically see who's on your side. See who believes in the traditional Catholic faith. There's not a lot of us, but there could be quite a few in your community, and you can rally around that. And then you can find a traditional priest, and maybe he won't say a private mass for you, but that's something that you'll have to determine. And I know that there are, and see, here's one thing where Lee Harvey Oswald says don't go to a Novus Ordo church. Well, here's one thing. I don't I don't think that people that go to a Novus Ordo church are necessarily like I don't know if they necessarily believe in Novus Ordo like religion. I don't know that they necessarily agree with all the Novus Ordo rites. I think you can find good people in Novus Ordo church, and I think you can recruit them and interact with them. And there are definitely some people that have they have faith, they have supernatural faith. The Novus Ordo is what I should say. That they have supernatural faith, and and I think that that is something that's how we can build our networks. I mean, we certainly build your network at a traditional church. That's for sure. I actually like the Eastern Rite as well, and maybe someday I'll talk about that in more detail. But I think that if you're just looking for reverence and you're looking and you try to find people who agree with the stuff that you're saying, agree with the doctrines of the Catholic Church, then you're on the right track. And so as lay people, our voices will be heard at most at the local level. And you know what? Don't get frustrated. That's one thing you cannot do is get frustrated because like you can have schedule a rosary and maybe someone's on vacation. Maybe someone has a really long day at work and they're exhausted. And they decide not to come. And then all of a sudden you're down to just a few people just praying, going to like one of your prayer groups, or you're trying to organize any events and people aren't enthusiastic. Whatever, not whatever, but don't get discouraged. Just keep doing it. Keep you know keep spreading the word of the Catholic faith. People will come eventually. Some of this stuff. So I don't know. Do you guys have any thoughts on the anti-church? It's a really sickening thing. Um, I'm concerned about working my salvation in fear and trembling. Find other people like that. That's what you need to do. and you're going to find a lot of people at traditional churches. You're also, I mean, that's fine. You know, these people at traditional churches, they're going to help you out. Network with those people, and in my experience, I think that, and here's part of my testimony that I didn't share at the Latin Mass is that once I started attending the Latin Mass, it really gave me even more of an enthusiasm for the Catholic faith, and so I studied, um, I studied more into my Catholic faith. I also started looking at a lot of stuff like money. Where does our money go? And like financial statements of different Catholic organizations, and it's very, very concerning. What are we supporting? Are we supporting organizations that are completely compromised? Because that's what the USCCB with Catholic Campaign for Human Development does. I'm concerned about loving Jesus and keeping his commandments. I think we need a grounded perspective. Hey Jackson, how's it going? Thanks for joining the live stream. Tune in. I think we'll have another one next week on the Thunder and Lightning show. I want to do something Saturday. We'll see if that happens. I hope that you guys show up for that one. My idea on Saturday is pretty cool, I think. So hopefully, if I get a chance, I should have a chance on Saturday to do a live stream sometime. I'll have to schedule it out. And I think that networking with people who are more traditional minded, I think that always helps too. And I don't know what your situation is different than mine. Everyone has a different situation. If you have young children, you've got to find a reverent mass. You've got to find a reverent church that'll teach them the Catholic faith, and you have to teach them the uncompromised Catholic faith. I have been blessed by a circle of Catholic friends who get this. You can fight the Pope by doing these things. You can't stand it. We're gonna prevail, guys. I mean, that's how it is, you know. And the Vatican, the cardinals can do whatever they want, but that's not going to change our Catholic perspectives. It's going to shake the faith of a lot of people, but it won't shake our faith. This is all I got to say today, guys. Thank you for joining the live stream. I really appreciate it, and thank you for watching. And as always, we are the laity, and we will not be silent.